Hello everyone and welcome to Tabletop Tea Time. This is the monthly show where I invite creators on and we talk about board games. Last month we talked about gateway games, those sort of lighter experiences that you can play with anyone, maybe your first game into hobby games. This time around, because we're going up a little bit, we're talking about the next steps, the slightly more medium weight games, and next time we'll even be talking about heavy games. But medium, sort of middle of the road sort of games, ones that you wouldn't play with a first time gamer, but oh, you've played these games? Well, you'd be fine with these then. For me, a really good example of that would be something like Clank, and I'm going to cheat a little bit and say Clank or Clank in Space. Because why I'm talking about the game Clank or Clank in Space is because of that deck building nature and what it lets you do, rather than it being that sort of specific game, and why I wouldn't teach it to a brand new player. So in like a game like Ticket to Ride, you're collecting cards, having a hand of cards and spending them in colourful sets. It's a simple, fun experience. In a deck building game like Clank or Clank in Space, you are still having a hand of cards, but you are going to be able to alter it across the course of the game, upgrade it, and it's how you utilise it. So in Clank in Space, you're going to be often drawing a hand of 5 cards from your deck. Now at the start of the game, everyone's got a okay set of cards. So you can move a little bit, maybe take out a small monster, maybe have a little bit of like the gold or whatever it is, the credits, to buy something from the market to upgrade your deck. And slowly but surely over the course of the game, you're going to be drawing your hand of 5 cards on your turn, utilising them, spending those cards for something from the market or something to do something on the board, move around deeper into that dungeon or spaceship, and you're gonna get alright with those basic cards, but they're basic for a reason. You are really wanting to get better, bigger cards from that market because they let you do more things and are potentially unique cards for you as well. So maybe one person has picked up more of those boot symbols on cards, so they're running round the dungeon, but they have to run around maybe monsters because they don't have many of those sword symbols. I've, however, got a couple of cards that give me more sword symbols, so when I draw them out of my deck, I can go and slay a big monster, hopefully for points or prizes or something like that. Unlike a lighter game where you just sort of are gaining and spending cards, it's the fact that those cards and decisions stick around with you for the whole experience. Once you've played a hand, they go into your discard pile, and when your small deck runs out of cards, you shuffle your discard pile and draw from it again. So that card that you bought earlier, that normally sits on top of your discard pile, you have to wait for it to then be shuffled in, and yes, that big card that I bought a couple of turns ago is now in my hand and I can play it, maybe buying something bigger. Maybe it's all about generating coins or credits, whatever the deck building thing is. But it's the fact that your decisions carry on, and your decisions can also mean I've got these cool cards. When they come back out, I can do something bigger. So at the start of the game, you start small, little steps, killing little monsters. By the end of Clank, you are running round this dungeon, hopefully running as deep as you can to claim a big bit of loot and getting out before the dragon or whatever version you're playing, because there's expansions and stuff, before that dragon can squish you down. Because you make Clank, that's what it's all about, putting these cubes into a bag depending on the cards you play, and when your cubes come out, you're going to be dealt damage. It's a lot of fun. There's some bits for like the original Clank. There is the opportunity that someone can just run in, grab something, run out, and sort of trigger the end game early, which isn't really as possible in Clank in Space. But they're still fantastic middle of the road style games. You're not going to boggle your brain, but it's decisions that keep coming back and having impact, which just makes the decisions a bit more meaningful. Of course, let us know in the comment section below, are you a Clank or a Clank in Spacer? And now let's pass over to some creators, starting with Meeple PhD, with a game I think you will recognise, and then Evan with a game you probably won't recognise.
Hi, I'm Barb, Meeple PhD, and my pick for midweight game is Planet Unknown. This is one of my favorites right now. In this game, each player has a planet that they are trying to terraform using polyomino pieces. It is a simultaneous play game where you have this lazy Susan at the middle of the table that holds all of the pieces, and it has these different wedges, and each player has a piece that points to a specific wedge. On a turn, there's going to be one lead player who gets to choose which wedge they want to take their piece from, and they're going to spin that lazy Susan until their piece points at it, and then this sets what everyone else gets to take as well. Then simultaneously, everyone's going to take one of the two available pieces to them and place it on their planet, following kind of normal polyomino placement rules where you start at the edge of the board and then each subsequent piece must be adjacent to at least part of a previously played piece. On these tiles are a couple of things. There might be a meteorite, and if there is, you need to put a meteorite piece on that tile as you place it. This is going to make that specific square unscorable unless you can remove that meteorite before the end of the game. And then each piece is also going to have two different terrains on it, which define movement that you're going to take on a track for your corporation board. As you move up various tracks, you might get things like little square pieces in order to fill up those holes that you have inevitably left by accident. You might get some civilization cards, which can give you some one-time abilities or special game end scoring opportunities. You might be able to increase your technology track, which gives you special powers throughout the game. And then my favorite is the rover track, where you have these little rovers, at least one, maybe more, depending on the corporation that you're playing, that are going to move around the planet and collect those meteorites. So this is how you're going to get rid of those before the end of the game. Now, everyone plays simultaneously, so you take your piece, you move your track, and then the next player gets to choose which bin they would like to choose something from. There's also just a lot of replayability in the box. Each planet board has one side, which is the same for everyone, but it also has a second side, which is different. Each one is different. So you can decide whether to play on the base board or the other side, the asymmetric side. Similarly, each corporation board has the universal corporation, which is the same for everyone, or you can flip it over and have a special corporation. And so you can choose whether, everyone's going to play the same planet but a different corporation, or the same corporation, different planet, or just mix the whole thing up, which is kind of where we are at this point. And then you have to kind of figure out how to best use your corporation with the planet that you are given. So this one's been hitting the table a lot. It's great for a lot of players because it's simultaneous play, so it doesn't take any longer than say at 2 players, maybe just a smidge more if you've got a little extra thinking going on at the table. But so that is Planet Unknown. I'm looking forward to seeing what everyone else has picked. Otherwise, I hope you enjoy your tea time.
Hey everybody, I'm Evan, and today I'm going to show you a game that you have probably never heard of. So in the world of board gaming, there exists a middle. That is the medium weight game. This is a nebulous space that I think the majority of board games falls into. I think light games are pretty easily defined. I think heavy games are pretty easily defined. But that middle is vast. Today I'm going to show you a fun game about brewing potions, summoning familiars, all using a sort of Mancala mechanism where you really have to plan critically. And that is a game called Potion Market. This has some of the goofiest looking familiars I've ever seen. Let's go down to the table and I'll show you how it works. In a game of Potion Market, the table is going to look set up like this. I want to mention that the instructions are in Japanese, but they are available on the publisher's website or BGG if you want to print them out in English. Okay, so there are potions and familiars in 6 different colors. The potions are arranged from lowest score to highest score. They go 2, 2, 4, 6 points. The familiars are shuffled randomly because they all have a power that affects a different color other than itself. So, there is a market track, there is a dawn track, and then each player gets a storage board and a cauldron with ingredients kind of randomly distributed at the beginning of the game. There are also occupations, which give players either like scoring bonuses or ongoing effects, those sorts of things. And basically set it up like this and you're ready to play. The sun and the moon is placed on the board in according to player count. And your little magic token here is placed here. So on your turn, what you do is you choose one of the sections where you have ingredients on your market board, and then you place them Mancala style around into the action slots in the center. And then once you do the actions, you have to do them in clockwise order, in the order that they are on the board. So let's take a look at this, and I'll show you what the actions are. The first action is a cauldron action. This is a wild action. It can be any one you want. This is a essence action, which allows you to draw one of these essence tokens based on the color that you have in this spot. This is buy either a potion or a familiar. And again, it has to be the color of the familiar based on the color that is on that action slot. So yeah, you'd be able to buy a blue one on this turn. This is the market action, which allows you to manipulate the market down here. So if you have a red token there, it's going to move towards the red side. This will allow when familiars are summoned or potions are created, bonus points. And then basically those two actions repeat all the way back up here to the wild one again. So on your storage board, you have a magic token. So if you choose not to take the right action, you can move your magic token up. And then you can spend your magic as the game goes by to either manipulate the market, swap out ingredients in your storage, treat wild ingredient discs as another wild ingredient disc, or to move your ingredients back up in your storage. Because every turn, as you gather ingredients, they will start to tick down, and eventually they will lose all their potency and go right in the trash. So, what you're going to want to do is plan accordingly. You will have, because of the nature of the order of this, you have to make sure that you have the right colored discs at the right time in order to build these potions, summon these familiars, win the game. Whenever you build a potion, the sun track, the moon track will tick down, and then at the end of every round, the sun track. So then when these two cross, the game is over. All right, so let's take a look at these potions. These potions basically have the same effect no matter what the color is. The brown potion costs a brown essence. And then as they get higher in points, it'll cost more to purchase. And then they all have an instant effect. The ladle effect allows you to move one of your discs that is on the outside of there to another one to kind of set up a future turn. Or you can choose to swap out an essence that is in your storage. Those are all basically the same. Where it gets fun is these familiars here. So these all are shuffled randomly. As you can see, they all have a color that is not itself. So there is no brown familiar because it is the brown card. So this owl has a scoring effect. So any yellow potion or familiar you have at the end of the game is an extra 2 points. The bee turns these point tokens because once you I forgot to mention this, but when you get these up on the market, they allow you to take point tokens. So you flip over an essence token, and it turns into points. These familiars make those go from 2 points to a +3 points. So they turn these 2s into 5s. This this hatchling here allows you to add new ingredient discs to your cauldron. You see, he adds different colors based on the color of the familiar. The fungus here allows you to swap one of your small ingredient discs with a large one. So he would swap a brown ingredient disc with the larger one, and then the larger one is like a double action. And obviously there's different colors. And then the green spider here allows you to move discs, like adjust the discs of a certain color once per turn in your pot, so you can potentially set up bigger turns there to get the cards in the correct spots. And then the blue mollusk here gives you kind of a permanent essence of a specific color. I just want to point out how much I really enjoy the art in this game. These guys are super funny looking. I think the production overall is pretty stellar. So as the game goes on, the market will be changing. People are getting points, and then whoever has the most points at the end of the game is the winner. So let's go back up top, and I'll tell you what I think about it. So there you have it. That's Potion Market. So, Potion Market is an interesting game. It definitely has an approachable theme, and I think the artwork is really cool, and it has a really, really nice production. But man, like, if you make a mistake in your planning, it can be a critical error. Your game can be over. And one of the issues with the game is maybe it's not always your fault if you're not paying enough attention to the ingredients that the other people are gathering and they buy what you've been working towards out from under you. It can ruin your day. If you gather enough ingredients in your pot, sometimes you can kind of pivot, but there are times where you cannot. So I think those sorts of like decisions are what make this fall into the medium category. It's obviously not really heavy because I mean there's not a ton of different types of components. But yeah, I think this game is a lot of fun. Like I said, I really like the production. This was released by Polar Pond Games. I like a number of their games. It is somehow a division of Analog Lunchbox. So the question is, how do I get a hold of this game? Well, as of this recording, I could not find any sources other than one person selling a really overpriced copy on Board Game Geek. It seems to be out of print. If you go to the publisher's website, it's on there, and it seems like they are currently releasing new games from time to time, so I'm not sure if copies are available, and I just couldn't find them. But yeah, I really enjoy this game, and unfortunately, it's going to be a hard one to find. But, you know, if you ever run into me, let's play. All right, so I guess that's going to wrap this episode up. I'll see you in the next one, everybody, and have a great tea time.
And that wraps us up today. While you're going downstairs to like and subscribe, do check out the description box because that is going to have links to the creators that join me, so you can go and subscribe to them as well. It's all about sharing the love. Comment as well what you would be saying is your midweight game in the comment section. It'd be really nice to sort of have a bit of a chat there. And until next month when we're going to cover heavy games, thanks for watching.